the jewelry business in New York. Can you hear me okay, Marla? Because I just
I
saw a
can hear
follower
you
say,
great. I'm just trying to make it a little lower for me, just a
right.
tiny bit lower. Yeah, I think that's good so I can show
Yeah.
jewelry. And I also just, full disclosure, we're also live on TikTok just for fun.
Wow. Hi,
Because
everyone
I've
on
never done
TikTok.
that. And
No.
I just thought that would be fun too. So I'm going to show TikTok people too.
We're on TikTok and I do go on there, but it's a whole different way of doing things, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah, I think so. And I feel that you've got to be a bit quirky to have, people like quirky things on TikTok, don't they?
They do, but
And
they're very honest and they're very, I mean, I found it's so interesting, like talking to people on TikTok versus talking to people on Instagram, but I've really enjoyed it. I'm really just learning it. Um, and it's, that's the way I see
yeah,
it, right? It's all throwing spaghetti up against the wall, Victoria. That's all
I
I'm doing
love
every day.
that expression. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I felt from the very start, I I feel that I just move whichever direction I'm going to go in. I just follow the trend and go with it. There's no point trying to fight it, because you just have to go move with the times, don't you?
Well, my husband just commented all the eyewear. That the gentleman beekeeper is my husband. Yes, everybody has good eyewear, honey.
Oh, oh. Well, I love you. You talk about eyewear. I love your glasses,
Oh, thank
the
you.
blue lenses.
Yes, I
Are they
like
sunglasses?
blue. I like always to have colored lenses.
Yeah.
I believe in that.
Yeah, no, I love them. I'm going to have to talk to you later about those because I'd love a pair of those. I think they're gorgeous.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Marla, I've got so much
Hi,
to talk
Jen.
about, and I know we can't be on here for hours because everyone would get bored.
Yeah.
but for those, I mean, a lot of your followers are going to be watching, and they know you, but a lot of my followers and people that don't know about you, can we start? Can you share your jewelry journey, how it all started, how you got to Marla Aron, the jewelry brand?
Well, I would say that I was dreaming about doing this for many, many, many years while I had an entirely different career. I would say that I probably secretly dreamed about doing this way before, way, way, way before I even went to college. I wouldn't have known how to like express that this is what I wanted to do because the path was pretty clear that I would, go to university. Like
What did you
I
study?
I studied
Yeah,
communications and I actually then went on and got a master's degree. I mean, like, it's so
did you?
crazy, but I spent my entire career in media and advertising in different facets of the business for the
Yes,
most part.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that brings a lot to the table for your brand now.
Yeah,
Marketing,
maybe,
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, I think you're probably subconsciously aware about that knowledge, bringing that to the table. I think that really, really helps navigate, and knowing how to put your business across and market yourself and market your goods. But so, and what was your previous career? That was your career, was it as well?
Yeah, I mean, I've worked in several. I mean, I would say my last real job was I ran communications for a large multinational division
Yeah,
of a multinational company. So it was sort of internal communications, external communications. But I worked in Europe for several years in Spain in the magazine industry. I've, always around media,
yeah,
communications, that
yeah.
sort of thing.
Uh,
So
and then you set up your dream, Marla Aron, in the brand, the jewelry brand, in 2012. Was that right?
yeah, but I started making the jewelry way before
Did
that. I
you?
mean, yeah, probably around 2000, I was making it. I was often spending my lunch hour on 47th Street, which is
I
where
know that.
jewelry is made in New York.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
And
hub of
it
jewelry
was
business,
really like
guys.
a game of Russian roulette. Like I would just choose a building to go in, and I'd be like, let's see what happens in this building. Let's walk in and you know, and many of those people that I started working with, I still work with.
Do
So it's,
you?
well, it's pretty
Yeah.
funny. Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of rejection because I really didn't know what I was doing. I did not, I had an idea. I had a very focused idea, which was taking locks and turning them into, I wanted to do claspless chains, which at the time people thought I was, they didn't understand what I was doing. And when I would order chains, they would come with the clasp on them. And I would say, I told you no clasps. And they would be like, what are you doing? And I would have the locks made, and like someone would make one and then they'd be like, I don't want to do this. It's actually quite challenging to make our mechanical pieces and make them well, especially in sterling silver. And I felt from the beginning that we had to make the jewelry for a wide swath of people, and that it would have to be silver too.
Yeah.
So we're very consciously, when we bring in a new mechanism, we're always very consciously thinking, can we do this in silver so more people can have it? And this is always it's been a part of our story from day one.
I really think that's so good that you are putting that element of people's budgets, because you obviously have a high end market customer, and then people that just everyday people that just want something affordable, and they can't afford. I mean, we're the same, in my business, and I treat all my customers the same. I see that with you. I'm just grateful for anyone that comes and wants to spend their money.
Absolutely, anyone.
Yeah.
And the other thing I want to say is, whenever I've had issues, like with they said this can't, or I've heard this can't be made in sterling silver, I always reference, and I think it's important because you're in the UK, I always reference Victorian jewelry and some of the functional jewelry
Yes.
that has been made in England for a very, very long time. Quirky, strange things that have been made of low carat gold and sterling silver, functioning things for forever.
Yeah.
And so I would always say, that's not true. You can do this. And I have like a cabinet full of weird reference items. Ishi knows this. I mean, several London-based antique
Yeah.
dealers
Can
know.
you tell us about? Are you happy to share that? Because I know that Ishi sent you a piece, didn't he? Because we were
Sure,
going to
he's
talk
done
about
it.
that.
We've done this a few times. I
Yeah.
mean, so I'll talk about the Musgrave, which came out last year. So Ishi in 2021 sent me a WhatsApp with these guys.
Wow.
And we were like, what are they? And we believe they're chatelaines.
Yeah.
And they're very rudimentary. You see, they spin like this. I hope you can see what I'm
Yeah.
doing.
That's really. I can see that perfectly. Well done.
So they spin with this one. So they're connected. Let me see if I can open this one. So you can see there's like
The
super,
mechanism there that
yeah,
spins. Yeah.
the mechanism spins and then this comes out. I'm not sure. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So it comes out. Can you see that? But this is obviously all made by hand, but it's ingenious,
Yeah.
right? It's probably from the
The
18th century.
workmanship is incredible.
The workmanship is incredible, all
Yeah.
handmade, very rudimentary. And he sent me a picture. He said, I think this is up your alley in 2021. And I was like, it's definitely up my alley. I'd like to buy it. It says Musgrave on it.
Oh,
And literally, these things kind of sit around, and then I pull it out and I'm like, yeah, let's do something fun with it. So I'll show you the highest end of what we did with
yeah.
it.
Let's get the jewels out, girls. Come
This
on.
is ruby in 18
Yeah.
karat, and it's on a spring. So it's a mechanism on a
That's
spring, and now it has a
yeah.
lever. So that's one way. But we said, well, that's not fair. Let's also do it in silver. So we did it in
Wow.
silver. So we're still using a spring. And yeah,
Yeah.
so
One thing I'd say, Marla, that you know, listeners are listening. So, you have these things made from scratch by bespoke jewelers. The craftsmanship, they're obviously highly skilled, and the same workmanship is going into one in gold that is going into one in silver, right?
yes. And that is such an important
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And in fact, when we work with new jewelers, the first step is, can you make a baby lock in silver? And I can't tell you how many are just like, we say we'd like 5 silver baby locks, please. And many just say, no, thank you. This is, you know, it's too challenging.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I can see. I think I can understand. You know, being a jeweler, I understand how. You know, because generally jewelers like, ah, hello.
They're in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's your
it's okay.
assistants. It's your canine assistants. They're joining
They're
us.
joining us. They're guarding the door.
Yeah.
All 13 pounds of them.
I love it. Well, my husky, you can see, but he's snoring his head off. It's too hot for him today. He normally would come in, but I think he's out for the count at the
They
moment.
really
Marla, it's so funny.
suffer the heat, those huskies.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's he needs really. I could do with a paddling pool in here with ice in it, so he could just go and lie in it because I think he'd feel so much better, you know. But what I was just saying about that, jewelers now often they like to work with like platinum, especially setting stones, because that metal is much easier to work with. It's more malleable. And I can understand that working and making those mechanisms in the silver, I really I take my hat off. I think that I'm just you know, seeing how they make them. But really, your business in itself, this is what I want to get across to people, because the things that you're making, I mean, they really are incredible pieces, and how they move and the mechanisms.
Thank you.
It's so, you know, you know, it's one thing to have a normal ring, a chain with a normal clasp, but the way that you know, you've definitely caught onto a whole new idea, a way of being, and people love them. I mean, can you show, you know how you've got multiple ones that you hook together and style them up with chains? Can you show us anything like that?
Sure, I can show you a few things. You know, we're really proud of it. Oh, sorry, everyone.
Oh, I
Okay,
love it.
my
It's
goodness.
real life.
My goodness, come over here. Everybody over here. Everybody over here.
Come on. Hello, babies.
There's Nana.
Oh. So what are their names? Sorry, I know we're not.
Nana and Spotty.
Mina and Spotty. And what is that? Are they rescue dogs?
They're
Did
both
you say?
rescue dogs.
Oh.
Spotty is our newest. He's
Oh.
we believe he's a rat terrier, and she's what they call a Chiweenie, which is part a Chiweenie, which is part Dachshund and Chihuahua.
Oh.
They have very poor personalities with people they don't know, and with animals they don't know.
Oh, well.
And
They're divas.
yeah. They've been renamed in my local park by people who see them, because they're so wild when they see people or other dogs. They've been renamed Spicy and Jalapeno.
Oh, I love that.
So here comes Spicy and Jalapeno.
Oh,
and it suits them.
They've got a following. People know them.
They have a little following.
Oh, I just, well, I love animals anyway. And I love to have my dog in the shop. I just, you know, I feel like, I don't know, people that don't like animals, I sort of don't.
I agree.
Yeah,
agree. We're on the same page.
Yeah, I don't get it, but
I don't get it.
No, but with I want to talk just refer a little bit to antique jewelry, because I know that everything is from you is made from scratch. But I think you've got a lot of your inspiration, obviously, from antique jewelry. And at the moment, Marla, antique findings are off the scale. They are making a fortune. You know, you can't find them. Slightly interesting things like double-ended dog clips, and even just dog clips, and anything that does something slightly interesting. You know, like, I don't know if you've seen those perpetual calendar pendants, the medallions.
Yes, of course.
And are you thinking about, Marla Aron, moving the brand and even sort of, because I think you could make things like that, couldn't you?
Like what?
Double dog clips. And
well, we don't ever like to make things that already exist.
Right.
exist. So
I
I've
get
of course seen
that.
double dog clips and things like that, and fast, the hinge element of them and all of it. But we try to apply these things to our designs. We're constantly. I don't think it's fun to recreate. I think it's
Yeah.
fun to take, if things have been done in the past, I find that really inspire. Like if I see a certain mechanism or way something moves, I'm like, this has been done. We can apply this
Yeah.
elsewhere. You
Yeah.
know,
That's so
so
good.
so
So
that's
you
something.
you are your own, and everything is born from you, from your mind.
Right, and from the evolution of our meetings, like we meet weekly for product development, and we're constantly evolving what we already make and designs that
Yeah.
we're working on. If something, let's just say that we don't just say, okay, here's the Musgrave, goodbye.
Yeah.
Like we find a lot of interest in this mechanism and movement, and not to give anything away, we're iterating around
Yeah.
that now. We're like, okay, we really like what we see here. What else can we do with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
So
fun.
when you have your meetings and you're looking for product development and new ideas, and I know you have a fantastic team that work with you there at Marlon Aaron at your showroom. So would you bring your jewelers in? Do you take into a point of view that
Oh,
this?
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because without the hand it's
Yeah.
nothing,
Yeah.
and
Of course.
that and what we've learned over the years is we can make anything once.
Yeah.
Okay, that is really, but can we make it, it's not about if we can make it once, it's about can we make, I'm just saying, 100 times,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
requires a whole other level. And so that has been, if we make it once, it's like,
Yeah.
fine. But if
Yeah.
we have to be able to make it again and again, and
Yeah. Multiple times.
what else can we do with it? Which is why I always say we discard more ideas than we bring into the universe, right? Like that, we're like, oh, that, so like one of the things I love that we brought in is the pulley. It really is a hardware store pulley. This one in
Oh, that's
particular
so clever.
has
I
diamonds,
was
but
looking on your website, all the different things that you do.
it can
So
it
I,
can
and I didn't
really
see that.
transform a wardrobe, right? Like this
That's
pulley. It'll allow you to play with your chains in different ways and connect your chains in different ways, which was why we thought, okay, this pulley is so
yeah,
great and people really love it, and it's price prohibitive for so many. We have to do a little one.
yeah. Oh, you did a little one.
So we have
So,
a baby pulley.
Marla, so
Um,
how can you reveal the prices of the more expensive and the cheaper so we
so
know?
So the planes, the gold pulley starts at around
Yeah, yeah,
3,000,
yeah,
and then the gold one, and then gold with stones goes up from there.
yeah.
But the silver baby pulley is 450
Oh,
US.
guys, I mean, honestly, and I was looking on your site, and I know like some of the things are like more high end, and they're set with gemstones and they're made of high carat gold, and this is why. But when I see some of your things like the baby pulley and that price, the workmanship that's gone into it, you know, that's a good price, Marla. I think they're,
Yeah.
you've made it so that it is affordable to a wider range.
That's
Um,
what we're trying to
yeah,
do. We're
yeah,
always, always, always heavily focused on making, can we make it affordable? And I will give you like a little slice of some of things that we're thinking about for the future. Like it's not just about now, it's silver and gold, but we're experimenting with a lot of different materials that I find fascinating.
well, tell us more. So what sort of things do you think you'll be? What you mean, like steel, or do you
Well,
mean other metals or
steel
gemstones?
a little bit, but other materials that we're very interested. But we're working right now with a string that we've developed over the course of 2 years here that is 15 times stronger than steel. Speaking of steel,
Crazy.
and
Wow.
it's string, and that's a really fun way to wear
It
your
is.
locks. Like it, so we're always trying to think of ways that'll, and I also think high and low is so interesting. Like it's not about wearing, you know, it's not about wearing all the same designer jewelry altogether. Our jewelry is only as interesting as women wearing it with what they already have and mixing it in their own very personal ways. So that is really inspiring. And that's actually for me why social media is, I love seeing how people wear our
Yeah,
jewelry.
I agree with
I-
that. Yeah,
that is just so inspiring, and mixing it with their antique jewelry, mixing it with their things that they found remnants in their jewelry box. I mean, that is really what is inspiring.
yeah,
Sorry, the air conditioner is so high here. I'm always with a running nose. So,
yeah. Well, look at me. I've
yeah.
got. We haven't
Yeah.
got air conditioning, but I'm for once.
I'm
How hot?
jealous. I
How
hate
hot is
air
it there?
conditioning.
How
I
hot
don't,
is it there?
how hot? It's like
Yeah.
90 degrees
Oh,
outside,
it's
but in
hot here,
here
but I
it's
don't
like
think
the
it's like
Arctic.
that. But we're experiencing extreme heat at the moment. But I know how hot it gets in New York. I've been there before this time of the year, and I just keep jumping to the air conditioning because I find it's hard. It's hard to live like
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
sorry, I'm digressing from that. But that's one thing. When I first found your account on Instagram and I saw how your designs, you can mix them up and you can wear them with antique chain. I mean, I know you have your own line of chains as well, but your jewelry, and I don't think a lot of new designer jewelry goes that well necessarily with antique jewelry, but I think that yours really does. And I have to be
Thank
honest,
you.
Sarah, when I first saw your account and was sort of before we connected, I thought, oh, are they antique? I wondered if they were, and I thought, no, when I saw, and I thought, wow, this jewelry collection is really something incredible. Just the whole way that you've developed. One thing I wanted to ask you, that the patenting, because you've got they're painted in, was that a hard process to get that done, Marla?
Sorry, the what?
That,
Oh,
to get the patent.
several of our pieces are patented, but not all
Yeah,
of them. I did not do that process, but I
yeah.
guess it is hard. I mean, just I almost threw away the patent when it came in. I thought it was junk mail, and Addie was like, "What is this?" No, I had said, "Oh, I think it's just some junk mail," and Addie's like, "No, it's the patent.
Oh
Like, don't throw it
no,
out." So, but yeah, I mean, I think it is, but it's not the be all and end all. You said something before that I wanted to comment on. Oh, the antique chain thing. I
yeah,
think it's really important to mention that when I started so many years ago, my idea was to use the locks and the locks that we were making with antique chains. And
yeah,
I started buying the chains, but it was about the time when gold really went up in
yeah. It's gone
price.
crazy.
So I
It's
remember it
gone
went up
crazy.
to $400. And
Yeah,
some of the chain dealers, the antique dealers that I knew were telling me, Marla, they're all being sold off for, it's a shame. They don't even exist anymore because they're all being sold off for scrap.
yeah.
So many antique chains in the particular time, maybe 15, 12 to 15 years ago, were sold for scrap metal, which is
I
really a
I
shame
did
because,
that too.
yeah,
I did that. I'm
yeah.
guilty of. Yeah,
So many of
yeah,
you did do
yeah,
that. And I mean, right, in some ways, rightfully, whatever. If you need to sell, I mean, I've sold
yeah.
jewelry too for money. I mean, I get it. But anyway, what I was saying is like that kind of excellence in chain making, you know, it was, many
They-
of it was gone,
yeah.
but that's what compelled me to start making chains. Here we make some chains, and we're very fussy about the chains that we buy. But
Have you any chains you could show us? Because I was looking through your site and it's like a rabbit hole.
yeah,
All your categories I looked through because
yeah.
you do
Well,
rings.
I'll show you a few. I mean, we
Yeah,
have so many. I mean, first of all, I'll just like hold this,
yeah,
like, but
that's
I
great.
won't do
Let's look.
that. I won't bore you all with that.
No, but
But,
I think
but I
everybody
will
knows.
show you a few that we make. So these are just chains are made by hand. This is our myriad chain.
Oh, so that's, oh wow. So that's sort of almost like a mariner type link, isn't it? It's very,
It's kind of, but it has a matching lock. If I
yeah.
could grab the lock. So
It
that one
almost
has a
reminds
really,
me a bit of a snake, bit of like snaky as well.
so it has this matching lock.
Oh, look
So
at that.
there's that. There's the
Yeah.
myriad. And then we have this one we launched recently. This is the True Lover's
That,
Knot, and it has a matching lock.
yeah.
And then we have, I'd love to do the myriad. These are just the chains we make, but then I can also show you. This is our meander, which has a Greek key design in it. And we do a thicker one. And
Wow.
then we
That's gorgeous.
do a series of lots of curb chains at every sort of thickness. Oh, we do so many chains. And then we do a fun chain that's a mixed up chain that's half silver and half
Oh,
gold.
I
And
love
they don't
that. I
match.
love mixed metals. I think,
It's
you
called the
know, very
mixed
popular.
up chain. And then a very delicate chain that's also quite sturdy, which I love, is called we call this an old world chain.
I
But
love that.
yeah, it's just a simple little thing. Um,
I saw that you did a video yesterday of your old world chains
Yeah,
that I like. That was
I
good.
did that because people are always asking
Yeah, I should.
for
They're
a
popular.
delicate, yeah, a delicate chain. And we, you know, we make, and then we make things that are entirely not delicate at all, like this
Yeah.
giant,
Look at that, Mama. She is, wow.
yeah, with it. This is
Oh,
a handmade, also a handmade
that
chain.
is
And this chain has a
fantastic.
little secret in the back that I never
I love it.
know how to
Has little,
do.
little hidden stories going on and something.
Well, it has a secret that it splits, that you can wear both pieces
Oh,
as a bracelet
yes,
separately.
multifunctional, which of course all your jewelry is.
Yeah,
It's got little things going on.
yeah.
And also, Marla, I mean, I know you can't show everything, the whole collection, but you I saw that you do charms as well. I mean, what out of all your categories, do you have ones that you find do better, or does it depend on the time of year? Do you have like a best selling type collection,
Well, the
or
locks are always, people are always buying the locks and the
yeah,
chains, but our charms have also are quite popular. The Trundle Lock
I saw
series,
the
which is the ring,
trundle lock, yeah,
yeah,
and the
which are
ding.
the
Is there one for
ring,
me as
the
well?
yeah, they're rings that are also locks, and we also do it in a bracelet. So we really just want to
I
encourage people,
love the bracelet. That is so
but it
cool.
can also be a necklace with,
Oh,
you
can
know,
it? Of
yeah,
course, you could.
you
So you can
could
wear that all around the neck, can you? Or do you
yes, you can
use the
put it
locks?
here and add
Yeah,
bracelets on the side,
yeah.
and turns into a necklace. Like that's really our main goal here, is to tell people, I mean, whether they buy our jewelry or not, just to think about their jewelry. Like a bracelet is not just a bracelet. A necklace is not just a necklace. Um, we take people's pearls and we restring
I
them
love,
with our loops at
I
the
love
end.
that. I was going to ask you about that, but I knew you would just say it anyway. So I
Yeah, these are
love.
my nanas. These are my grandmother's pearls that I restrung years ago with my loops. And
Oh, they're fantastic.
yeah, I'll,
See that yeah, you are. You know, it's almost like you are the jewelry influencer, showing people how you can make jewelry work and look and work with outfits, things that people never would have done. And really, there's no rules, is there? I mean,
no,
how you've done that is just
there's
so
no rules.
obvious.
There's no rules. Well, TikTok knows there's no rules.
Yeah.
So
Marla, can you? I know we chatted about this before. Can you share any celebrity stories, any gossip? Have you who have you? Who's the most famous person you've sold anything to, or where you've seen your jewelry worn on the red carpet?
um, I have to, before I say anything about who's worn our jewelry, I say I get just as excited and squeal when I see someone on the street just
Yeah,
wearing a
of
silver baby
course.
lock, as I do, anything but, of course, Blake Lively has worn our jewelry, Julianne Moore. I mean, a lot of celebrities have worn our jewelry. Oh, yes, sorry. Someone just reminded me, Alanis Morissette is in the New York Times this week. She has a lot of our pieces,
Oh,
and she's wearing our jewelry, and you know, but I really flip out if I just see a random person wearing our jewelry. I mean, my husband told me I'm not allowed to approach people, that's really weird, because I would just go up to people and be like, oh my God, that's one of our, but I
Marla,
don't do that
I
anymore.
I feel you. I
Right?
absolutely feel you so much, because I know I'm not a designer of jewelry, but obviously we've sold a lot over the years, and people mess me on. I bought my engagement ring from you 15 years ago.
Oh
We're
my
still going
God.
strong. They showed me a picture of the couple, and I tell you what, I think you will feel me on this. Is I honestly feel a little bit emotional about it, and sort of, because I well up, and I think that means so much to me.
Me too.
That yeah, that how people are, because we are very honoured. I mean, obviously it's our business, but we are stepping into something quite personal with jewelry, aren't we? Don't you agree?
Yes, that is the ultimate honor right there. And like
Yeah.
I always say, we have these napkins in the showroom that I'm going to share, and this is what they say. Oh,
Can you? It's
I'll
back to
read it.
front. Can you
Sorry.
read it? No,
Yeah,
read it.
sorry. Jewelry has one job, and that is to bring joy to people. And that's really, we never forget that here. Like that's really it. That's all we do.
Yeah. You're bringing a little bit of happiness. You know, sometimes I bet you've been the same. I've had people come to my shop and all different stories that they've shared with me. You know, maybe they've just lost their mother and they were left some money and they want to put it into a piece of jewelry that they can remember and wear every day and remember their mother. And they share that with me. And I think, oh my God, Victoria, you know, how honoured am I to have that? Or I had another lady that had breast cancer. She was in remission and she came in. I particularly remember this one. She came in the shop on a Saturday afternoon at 4:30. It was quite late. We were, you know, ready to shut. And she said, you know, I've had breast cancer. You know, I've had chemotherapy. I've just been told, you know, I'm in remission. And she said, I just want to buy myself a pair of diamond earrings because I want to say I've got a pair of diamond earrings in my ear, you know, while I'm alive. And myself and my colleague, we just welled up because I thought, how, you know, just it's like you just said, it's an absolute honor, isn't it, to be doing what we do.
Yeah. The stories and the things that I mean, people let us into their lives. I mean, when people engrave our DMA rings with
Oh
messages inside and we hear those messages, it's like sometimes I mean, often they're incredibly personal messages and you're just like,
yeah, yeah, it gets you, it gets you here. And that is jewelry, that it, because it is such a intimate thing, isn't it, that it touches your body, it's worn on you, it
yeah.
becomes almost part of you. Do you think that?
Yeah, I do think that it's not fashion. Yeah, it's everything. I mean, people tell their personal stories, you know, through jewelry in so many ways, and it's just an honor to be a
Yeah,
part of it. However they bring us in.
yeah,
That's how I see it.
yeah. And we're just, I mean, I definitely believe this, that jewelry carries energy. And you know, I often feel this, and I've had things, Marla, over the years. I remember I did a show in New York about oh, I don't know, it's 15, 16 years ago in Chelsea. And I sold a ring, and I often, if things have got certain things about them, I remember them. And then the ring, I ended up buying it back from a dealer in London about 10 years later.
Oh my
And
God.
I thought, this is a bit, I don't know what the story is. How did I sold it to? Maybe it was a dealer I sold it to, so that's why. But it wanted to come back to me. I mean, it's gone on again. Maybe it'll come back again. I don't know. But I've had funny things like that happen a few
That's
times.
wild.
Yeah.
When people sell jewelry, I mean, I get asked this all the time, or customers will send us like that our jewelry's on the real, and I'm like, someone needed some money. Like if that's what happened, that's what happened,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a funny industry. It's a funny world. Um, One thing I've got to talk about before we finish is your jewelry award.
Oh, yeah, that was
Listen,
crazy.
listen, you've got to. So tell me, did they write to you? Were you nominated? How did it happen?
I I was nominated, and they came to tell me a few months before it, you know, that I'd been nominated, and I sort of found it hard to believe. I didn't quite understand any of it, and then I sort of got the memo, and I understood what it was about, and I was super, you know, overwhelmed. And
Yeah.
my entire team was there. My sons were there. My
Oh
husband was there. I was very, very happy about that, you know. But you know, it's amazing. But our work is never done.
no,
That's
no.
what I'll say.
I knew you're very humble, Marla. You're very humble, but I feel that it was very, very deserved, and it
Thank
must have
you.
been. And I think we all deserve a little bit of, like,
Uh,
you know, a pat on the back.
yeah, a little
You know,
push up the
yeah,
mountain. a little push up the mountain to make it, make it easier. Like, and Victoria, I just have to say, when you reached out, I was so thrilled because I find your account, so much fun. And you're just such a warm, kind, loving spirit. And anybody that does that on the internet, I love. Like,
Oh,
basically, I just love it,
you, that's so nice. You make me a bit upset saying that to
Life is
me.
hard enough, right? I mean, the snarky and the
Yeah,
trolly and all that
yeah,
element of social media is just,
yeah. No, it's I it's a love-hate relationship. I don't know if you relate to this, but like I have to be on here every day, and part of me feels that I'm sort of a bit hooked to it, which I don't like feeling like my phone or Instagram or whatever is controlling me. But then I feel very responsible to my followers to answer them, to show them content, what we're doing, and answer and also support my fellow people in the jewelry community. Like one of the first things I do when I wake up, Marla, is go through my feed, and I like, now you're in my group, I want to follow you and like
ditto.
everything, because it's important to me. Ishi, he's definitely, he's one of my closest friends in the jewelry business. Everything he does, I'm fully supportive of, and some other jewelry dealers that I know in London. And I tell you, these are people that I've met. I know them. I know they're sincere people. I know what they do. They do from the heart, and it's so all of that's a big deal. But sometimes it hangs heavy, and I don't know if you. I do need a break from it sometimes. Is that all right to say?
Yeah, I think it's all right to say. I think that's definitely the case. I mean, it's certainly a
Yeah,
double-edged sword. I mean, in my mind, social media gave me a window to the world. And with that, it does come at a little bit of a cost, but I wouldn't have been able, I was sitting alone in my house with my jewelry. Like, how was I going to show the world my
yeah,
jewelry? I didn't know about trade shows. I didn't know about any of that to make those things happen. And it also is how I met so many. It's how I met Ishi. It's how I'm meeting
yeah,
you. It's how I met so many
yeah.
in the jewelry world. And even I have a dear friend here from Paris who
Oh,
I met because of social media,
yeah.
and he's here working on a project with me now.
Oh,
So
amazing. Well, I know I'm coming to New York in November, and I hope that you're around, and I really would love to
yeah,
meet you and meet your team and come. I
definitely. You have to come
I
over.
I feel like we were meant to meet. I was meant to see you and do all this. I always believed that, like the same with the jewelry. I feel like you find your people, you find your tribe, you know.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
and I've had a few people, actually funny enough, from New York, who followed me from the start, and I can't tell you, they are so supportive to me. They fly to England and they come and see me at the shop, and we've been out for afternoon tea and things like that. They love
How
jewelry, so
fun.
I think that if you've got a passion, I've got a passion, you've got a passion. If you're passionate, creative people, you've got that in common. I think that it really draws you together, doesn't it? Because you've got the same interests, and
Absolutely.
so yeah, I definitely want to come
Come
and see you.
visit.
Just out of interest, Marla, if anybody in England is listening to us, and they want to buy something from you from London, they can just go on your website, right? And you
For
ship to the
now,
UK.
they can go on our website. We ship all over the world. We've always had customers in England, and there'll be more places to get us hopefully soon. But yes, we're sold all over the world, and our website is really the best window, except for, and our extraordinary retailers around the world that
Yeah,
we work
yeah.
with.
Well, that's. Oh, I mean, it's all exciting, and you come to, because I saw that you were in London last year. Do you
I
come to promote, or do
come a
you?
lot.
Yeah.
I come to London a lot. I love London
Okay.
a lot, a
Well, we
lot, a
must
lot.
touch base when you come to London as well.
Ishi actually took me, this is sort of, I don't want to, but I was in London 7 years when I met Ishi the first time in person. It was like a very difficult time for me because someone close to me had passed, and I was in London. I had to be in London and Paris on business, so it was very hard to be there. And he took me on a day to Portobello Road one morning,
Oh,
and he really like made me so happy.
yeah.
I mean, it was just like the greatest
You could
thing.
not have got a better host. And he is, I mean, he probably go, oh, don't say that, Victoria, but he's
It's
just
true.
got this, the kindest, gentle soul. And there's something quite special about him. Um,
Absolutely.
I lost my horse earlier this year, and
I'm
you
so
know, because I'm very,
sorry.
oh, thank you. But I'd had her most of my life. She was 32, but I'd had
The
her,
horse?
yeah,
Wow.
a good age. But I'd had her since she was 3. I got her from Ireland and had her brought over. I had a very special relationship with her, and I never thought she was going to go, but it happened. Not very. It wasn't in a very nice way early this year, but I'm over it a bit. And in the process, I broke my wrist, my left wrist.
Oh
I
no.
sort of feel like that was my parting gift, but that morning after I'd had to say goodbye to her and I'd been to the hospital and anyway, all of that. And I was just sitting in my home, not in a very, you know, good place because, you know, just dealing with the whole shock of everything that happened. And Ishi messaged me, are you okay? I mean, he didn't know. He did not know. And I just said, I cried. I said a voice note to him and I said, I can't. I said, "Oh, this is all a bit much for you, but something's just happened, and I'm in a real state. But I can't believe you've just messaged me that." It was almost like he knew, you know.
Wow.
So that's
Wow.
what I'm saying. He's a special boy, is
He
she?
is. He is.
Yeah,
The antique jewelry world is a special
yeah.
place for sure.
Well, we're going to touch base and meet up. Oh, can you before we go? You know your single mum locks. You can you just share that because I know that
Yeah. So I started that project. This is 10 years now. I started it because I was a single mom and I wanted to do something special for single
oh
moms. So the first year we gave 50 sterling silver heart locks with with the exclamation point for the of
yeah
motherhood. I'm
yeah
going to show one here. And we gave out 50 and we increased it every year. And now we've given out thousands and we give 1,500 US only. We are going to expand it in the US every year to single moms. It's called the Lock Your Mom Project. And when they receive it and they receive it in this and it says, somebody knows you, somebody loves you, somebody told us. And that's it. And it's not a contest. It's just, right before Mother's Day. And we give out these locks. And we also, in New York, we do a special event for single moms who are houseless and their children. We do a luncheon the week before Mother's Day. And this year we had 130 participants in that. It
that's
was wild.
amazing. Oh, I think that's you know, to do that, and it's such a lovely personal thing. Um,
Yeah.
oh, I mean, it's just amazing, Marla. Um, do you have? I'm wrapping up now because I was just looking. I think we're getting nearer 4 o'clock, and we've been. I knew we'd be chatting for ages. Do you have a mantra for life?
It is what it is. That is
Yeah.
definitely my mantra.
Do you know what you are so with my mother? That's that's often when I talk about things with my mum. You know, where we're trying to put something right, and she'll go, "Well, it is what it is."
Well, my dad always says it, and I put it on my talking chain. So I have a chain that says it is what it is on
Oh,
it.
I want that. I love that. I'm going to have to talk to you about that.
Yes.
And do you have an all-time favorite movie, like, or a couple of
Oh,
favorite
yeah.
movies?
My all-time favorite movie, is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh,
And then
love,
yeah, I love that movie. And then there's another movie that I love, The Royal Tenenbaums, a lot. Like I've seen it many, many times. And then there's this weird documentary that if my son is watching, he's going to be like, you did not bring that up, but I am. It's called Babies, and it's how babies are raised around the world. So there's a Nigerian baby, a Japanese baby, an American baby, and what's the other country? Japan, Nigeria, America. I'm forgetting the fourth. My God. Oh,
Oh,
Mongolian, the Mongolian baby. And
goodness.
it's a documentary, and I really would encourage everyone.
How
Oh my God,
can you watch
Julian, it's
that?
your favorite too. Anyway, it is such a beautiful movie. It makes me cry every time just watching mothers take care of their babies in different ways. And I just feel like if people all over the world could see this, they would understand we're just much more alike than we are different. That's
Yeah,
all I.
yeah. I completely get that. And
Everybody is somebody's child.
yeah, yeah, we're all somebody's child. We've all come from someone. If you could choose three dinner guests from, from the past or even present, but who would you choose? They could be famous or from the politician world or anyone. Who would you choose?
It's going to be really boring. But I just would want, I mean, well, okay, so I won't play the game, but really my favorite thing, all I do is ask my children when they're coming home. So,
Oh,
yeah, when are you coming home? But other than that, I would love Diane von Furstenberg, I would love to have dinner
yeah.
with. Um, Suzanne Bell Perone, I would love to have dinner with. And I'm trying to think of who else. My God, I really feel put on
No,
the spot,
don't
but
don't worry.
well, let me
Don't
think if
worry.
I have a third dinner
People
guest. I don't know.
appreciate it.
Someone, Julia Child. I would
Oh,
love to have dinner with Julia
it's
Child.
it's a funny question, isn't it? But I love asking it. Are you? And one other thing, are you left or right-handed?
I'm right-handed.
You're right-handed. I often ask my guests that, and for a while there was a lot of lefts, but lately everyone's been right. I'm
Are you?
left-handed.
You are.
Yeah.
So I have a child who was it's a very odd that he was doing it with both. He was writing with
Oh
both hands for
wow.
when he was very little, and it was really strange.
Yeah.
But then he
Yeah.
chose.
Well, I think it's I don't know if they do say artistic people are often left-handed, but but I've actually found it's a real mix of both. Actually, there
Yeah.
isn't one or the other. But anyway, Marla, I really appreciate
Oh,
your
I loved
time.
it. The pleasure was mine. Thank you all for staying around so long.
You've been a fantastic guest. I mean,
Oh,
you've given us so much, stories, and you've shown your beautiful jewelry. And I hope that you get lots of sales from people that maybe have followed up that don't know
well,
you.
I'm
So
really glad, and I look forward to meeting you in
yeah,
November in person.
I'm gonna hook up. No, don't let this be the
No,
last.
we'll see you. I'm going to come chase you down in London.
Oh, I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Thank
Have a
you,
fantastic Friday.
Laurel.
I love Fridays. Lots of love. Lots of love to your team. And
Thank
thank
you.
you so much. Thank you
They
for
all sat
sharing
here.
your stories. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.